local favorite, driver of a number 38 Fire Aid Ford for Front Row Motorsports, and that is David Ragan. Obviously, I guess the first question off the bat, what's it like to be in home and at home cooking, how many tickets you get for friends and family and all that, those requests?
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask how many speeding tickets that I got down here. But no, I love coming home to Georgia. Georgia's still home for me, and to be here at Atlanta Motor Speedway is a great feeling. I love the racetrack. If you would pick this place up and move it in the middle of the country, I would still enjoy racing here. But having so many memories, racing my Bandolero and Legends car there on the quarter-mile track with a lot of guys that are racing this weekend. But yeah, a lot of friends and family. Unadilla, Georgia is about 65 miles south of here. So obviously my parents and some family members and friends will be scattered around, and it's great to be here and look up in the other series and the Xfinity and the Truck Series to see guys like Austin Hill and other young kids from the Georgia area representing all three series pretty strong. So I'm excited to be here and have a Fire Aid on our car, which is a local Georgia-based company, and I'm glad that the weather forecast looks great for Sunday, and look forward to a fun weekend.
Great. I think David will start up here at Lee, then go to Jacob, and then Mark.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. What's it like having a third full-time teammate this year? I know you guys have bounced kind of back and forth, but has it helped just to have the sheer numbers?
Yes, and we were able to add our third team and while the timing was right and we were prepared. Sometimes when you add another car, if you do it at the wrong time or late in the game, it can really bring the whole organization down some. But I felt like Bob Jenkins and Jerry Freese kind of had that plan in place toward the end of last year, and we were able to recruit some good employees with a few of the larger teams downsizing a little bit. In the months of November and December, I felt like we were able to attract not only some good guys that are here working on the team, but that are building and preparing our race cars back in North Carolina. We've got over 90 employees now at Front Row Motorsports, and so, body hangers and chassis guys and suspension guys, you walk around the shop and there's some really talented employees that are working there. So it's just another small step that Bob Jenkins and our entire Front Row Motorsports team have taken to gradually get a little better. We still have a long ways to go to catch Team Penske and RCR and Hendrick Motorsports and some of those teams, but to just be in our ninth full-time season and to have three pretty good teams that work together, that have good employees, and to be able to strengthen our employees back at the race shop, I think that's a great thing, and we won't even realize some of the things that it has done for our team until later on into the season, because we have had a lot of work changing our Fords over to Mustangs. We've been extremely busy, but I think it all happened at the right time, and it's fun to go over and talk to the guys after practice and kind of coordinate what our plans are and what's good and what's bad.
Jacob?
Thank you. Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport Magazine. Two questions, David. First, local boy, local sponsor. Does that put any pressure on you coming to your home track, or is that something that you embrace, being able to tie all that Georgia heritage together?
Oh, I certainly embrace it. I mean, we have a lot of friends and family and partners at a lot of tracks throughout the year, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves every weekend to perform at the best of our ability. And to be at Atlanta, I think it keeps me busy, but I embrace it and I enjoy it. I love walking around the garage and seeing guys that I've raced with some, or driving through the infield and knowing people that are camping out here. So no, I enjoy it. I was busy all day yesterday at the Speedway Children's Charity Clay Shoot, then went to visit another one of our longtime sponsors in North Georgia. So I was on the roads and around town and had dinner with a close friend last night. So yeah, it's always fun to come back here, and then the icing on the cake is 500 miles here at a cool racetrack.
And obviously you started your career on the quarter mile on the front stretch. What does it mean to you to have been able to bring that full circle and be able to come back here every year as a Cup Series driver, knowing that this is literally where it started for you?
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, I remember here, I guess it's been almost 20 years ago, in 97, 98, 99, racing my Bandolero car and just trying to sneak into the garage, or trying to hang on by the fence and watch Bobby Labonte or Dale Jarrett or any of those guys drive by and think, man, that's really a Cup Series driver in that car. Seeing him going to the corner at 200 miles an hour was really just unbelievable. And then just to get a chance to come here, my first race in a truck series in '06, and then able to run an Xfinity and Cup series the following year. That was a neat highlight of my career. And then you always have other goals. You want to win races. You want to set on poles. And I would love to be in victory lane here in any of the top 3 series. I think would be a neat thing. I think guys that grew up in this area, Chase Elliott, even Joey Logano, some of them would love to be in victory lane at a track that you have a lot of history at. So it's definitely something that's rewarding, and it's a good feeling to know that I was finally able to get there, and now you have some other goals in front of you, but just being able to make some laps here in a real race car was certainly a thrill back many years ago.
Mark?
Mark Garrow, PRN, way in the back. David, how would you explain to the average fan what the difference in speed feels like? And as a follow-up to that, do you feel like you'll be able to make more bolder, aggressive moves because of that lack of speed?
You know, I was really shocked to see that the pole speed last year was just less than a second faster than what we ran today. It's really remarkable to think that when NASCAR makes these rule changes, the teams are so smart and they're able to adapt at such a fast rate where we can tune on our race cars, tune on our bodies. Doug Yates and the Ford Performance team tune on the engine. So you're always going to be getting more and getting faster and faster. And that's why NASCAR has to adjust the rules from years to years, because we're always improving what we have as a product. But to answer your question about speed, I feel a high rate of speed and sensation through the corners like I normally would at Atlanta, but you get there a little slower and you exit the corner a little slower. So I think that handling will still be important. I still think the guys who can get over the bumps and manage their tires and have a good handling car, they're going to be able to get through the most important part of the racetrack, which is the corners, the middle of the corners on both ends, easier and better and more efficient than the other guys. But you can tell down the straightaway you don't quite have that extra horsepower pulling you down the straightaway. But once you get into the corner, you better hold on to the steering wheel, because your car still bounces around and it's still loose and it's still tight.
So are you saying that it's the same old, and you won't?
It's similar. I think that you'll see about 50% of the realized potential that we'll see with this new package here this weekend in Atlanta, because of 2 factors. That the track surface is worn out, the tire combination Goodyear brings here puts down a lot of rubber, and it loses grip throughout a run at a faster rate than any track we go to, and then we don't have the aero ducts in. So I think those are 2 factors that will keep the cars. We'll race in a little bit tighter packs on restarts, but you're eventually going to get spread out, and it will look like a traditional Atlanta Motor Speedway race. If you just woke up from a 12-month sleep from last year, you really wouldn't know the difference, I don't think. But we'll see that at Las Vegas, because we'll have the aero ducts in and the track surface Goodyear tire combination is a little different.
Go to the middle of Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. I was picturing that there was going to be like this team drafting going on at like every intermediate, including here. But then Harvick and Hamlin both saying that their teams haven't even talked about it yet. Are they just like holding their cards close to their chest, or are you expecting that maybe cars won't be drafting together in qualifying?
Well, I think they're lying. They've definitely talked about it. Now, can you do it or not? I don't think that you can do it here because of the handling characteristics. And we have our cars trimmed out to go as fast as we can by yourself, and they generally don't handle as well when you straighten the rear ends up a little bit and you try to make them go as fast as you can. So I think that at Las Vegas you'll definitely see multiple cars, and I drove one of the cars at the Las Vegas test a few weeks ago, and there's no question that when you pulled out behind a car you could run a few tenths faster, but it was easier to hold it wide open. You were undersaturating the tires at Las Vegas. But here, like I said, it points on both ends. If you look at the driver traces during practice, a lot of guys were lifting. And so when you are reaching the maximum potential that the tires have, you have to lift a little bit. And so having that dirty air through the corners almost makes that worse. So what you gain by having some drafting ability down the straightaway, you lose in the corner. So I think that in a perfect scenario, if you could draft someone a little down the straightaway but break away in the corner a little bit, but that's really not practical either. So I guarantee you'll see a little different change of a Friday afternoon next week at Las Vegas. And then the other extreme will be, the Texas Motor Speedway, Michigan. It'll be a lot bigger packs, but the worn out track, Chicagoland, and here at Atlanta, you're still oversaturating the tires to where you can't do that in the corners. but they have talked about it. We've talked about it, so I know they have.
Any further questions for David? Okay, thank you, David. Good luck
Thank
on
you, guys.
Sunday.
Y'all have a fun weekend. Stay out of the donut cabinet.